Kyle. Um, Thank you so much for being here in Zona Franca channel. My name is Alexander from Lima, Peru, and basically what I do is try to promote metal music here in the Peruvian community. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kyle Thomas, and I sing with Exhorder amongst some other acts, but I believe this is specifically an Exhorder interview, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So, Sir Kyle, um, in few words, how Exhorder was created?
I want to say that we were probably cultured in a lab somewhere. Either that or just we're the funk that grows at the bottom of the refrigerator when the food doesn't get taken out very often. In all truthfulness, I want to say 1985, late 1985, early 1986. The original members and myself were, we were either heavy metal kids or punk rock kids that were starting to get into the other music. So the punks were starting to listen to metal, the metalheads were starting to listen to punk, as crossover was in the mid 1980s. And we met each other at punk rock shows. The metal community was at the time not very embracing of the newer sound, I guess. It was a lot more of a glam metal world, and we were kind of over that. So we all just kind of started talking to each other at the concerts, and they actually were all together working on music before I stepped in. I was the last one to join, but ever since I joined, I've been the only singer, so must be doing something right, or I just must be an insane person, one of the two.
True.
But
So,
that was it. We got together basically because we wanted to play music that we wanted to hear, music that we wanted to listen to, and that's how it started.
so how do you feel, let's say, as being called the creator of the groove thrash metal? Because after you came, I don't know, Lamb of God, Pantera, and other bands that you were um, their mentors.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of bands that have gone on to much bigger success than we ever did. That I know some of the members of, Slipknot, for instance, right there behind you.
Yeah.
That 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 have told me what an impact we had on their bands. I don't know that we necessarily created anything, but I'd have to say we did something different to it that that wasn't really happening at the time. We took a lot of influence off of our early mentors like Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Celtic Frost, Destruction, and then on the punk side you had Agnostic Front, Dead Kennedys, Corrosion of Conformity. A lot of these bands were doing things that spoke to us. I think one of the things that maybe set us into the whole groove genre, and maybe this is where we got kind of started with it, being from New Orleans. It's, the birthplace of jazz. There's a lot of funk music here. The blues is prevalent. So a lot of those things were things that we listened to, traditional New Orleans, even the early rock and roll. A lot of it was rooted in New Orleans. So we heard these songs growing up. They get into your blood, and it just kind of seeps out into what we wrote, kind of honestly, I believe. So I don't think in any way that we necessarily rewrote the book on how to play this stuff. We just put our own flair into it, and I think it spoke to a lot of people.
True. And how do you feel as being, as far as I know, the only founder member now in Exhorder? Like, do you feel pressure on your shoulders? Do you feel that you have to like carry the boat more than the others? How do you feel?
Not necessarily. The pressure, the pressure, actually, I find is less on the music side than it is on the business side. The business side is so much harder than it's ever been, especially post pandemic. It's just really difficult to survive anymore and be a touring band. So that's really where the most of the pressure lies. The music is the most fun part, to be honest with you. I think I'm actually having more fun playing guitar in this band than I ever had previously. Wow. In this band. So I'm a musician first. I started playing musical instruments when I was 8 years old. I started on the trumpet. I also played bass. And then guitar found its way into my hands kind of by accident, I guess, or necessity, however you want to look at it. But singing just kind of found me just as a happenstance. So for me, the music part is the less stressful part. I do take great pride in the new music that we've written for this upcoming album that will be out in 2024. Writing with Jason and Sasha has been not just a pleasure, but an honor and a privilege. They both have very good ideas. They're both fans of the band, and they've been with us for a long time. So it doesn't feel, to me, it doesn't even feel like I'm the last original member, because I've got two guys at my side that were here for, they've been here for 5 years by now, 6 years, something like that. So I think, to be fair, it's not like there's much new. I mean, the newest addition on our album is Pat O'Brien, and Pat's such a pro and so easy to get along with. It's just been a great fit. So yeah, I don't know, like we have a very pleasant environment in the band right now. Everyone gets along greatly, and that hasn't always been the case in this band. It's been very difficult in the past to have a peaceful environment, and we have that now. So I don't know, that the pressure seems to be relieved to me.
Good to hear that. I mean, in, let's say, more than 30 years that Exhorder is on the road, is there a specific time that you would like to do it again?
To do what again?
Like, let's say a tour or a concert, like a specific time of those years that you are an Exhorder, you would like to live it again?
Oh, the past Exhorder?
Yeah.
No. I have no interest in it. Yep. Moving forward.
And maybe the same question, in those years that you are an Exhorder, there is something as a musician that you haven't done yet?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I really just kind of started playing the guitar again after many, many years of not playing. And so I have a lot of catching up to do. As far as I never really was a guy that was interested in playing thrash guitar regularly. I mean, I wrote some parts here and there and contributed musically, but it wasn't anything that until late in 2021 that I said, I think I'd like to do this now. So I'm constantly working to get better at what I do. I'm not too worried about trying to be the best, because there's guys that have been, and girls, a lot of, I can't just say guys anymore, because there's a lot of women out there that are shredding right now, and that's a good thing, I think. But these individuals have been focused exclusively on playing guitar for decades, and I'm such a multi-instrumentalist that my concern is less about being really great at one thing than it is about good songwriting, serving the song, and having each instrument do its job within the song to make the best music possible. That's me. Songwriting is the biggest challenge in all of this, and it is my greatest quest to write the best songs that I can do.
So talking about writing the song, like when you write a song, you have to be in a peaceful mind state, or like how is that environment when you write a song?
I'd have to say a lot of my best work has come when I've been extremely unhappy or agitated. And I do a lot of writing also when I'm happy and feel good too. When you go through periods of struggling to create, it's a very, very terrible feeling as someone who's any kind of an artist, whether you're someone who draws, paints, does acting, or music, or whatever media that you use to create your art. When you go through a period of time where it's a struggle to come up with an idea, it is a terrible feeling, and the only thing I can ever say to anybody that's going through that is just walk away, because if you try to force it, it usually ends up being a product that isn't worth the time or the effort. So and then there are other times when it's just coming so fast, you have to just kind of isolate yourself and get as many of the fundamental and base ideas that you can formulate and record it some kind of way, so that you can return to it and embellish upon making it better.
So let's say, what are some advices that you would like to say to those bands that are just coming up nowadays?
Advice to young bands: quit.
Don't do
Stop
metal.
now. Stop now while you can. It's a money pit. It sucks. No, I've always said, a lot of people asked me when my children were small if I was trying to help develop them into doing what I do, and I said absolutely not, because it's been such a heartache and a struggle, and it can be a really dark world in the business side of it, as well as, the things that, what is the old saying? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. So when you're not busy, there's a lot of things that you can get into that are not good for you. But at the same time, my children, I always said, if they wanted to come to me and say, I want to do this, I would have helped them. And I did, like when they wanted to play instruments or wanted to sing, this and that, I worked with them. But none of them had a really strong enough urge and love for it to chase after it the way I did, and I'm not unhappy about it. But for other people that are not my children, I would say the same thing. I'd be happy to give any advice that I could, or give instructions in a form of a lesson, and not just teach them how to play, how to write, how to perform, but also how to survive, because I think that's probably the toughest part about being in this industry, is not letting it take you down and not letting it destroy you. So for young bands that care and really want to, it's tough. This is the toughest time in the world to come up with a band that's starting from ground zero. So if you really want it, it can be done. You have to work really hard. You got to work the social media. You've got to get out there and play, but you have to have your standards too. And there has to be things that you absolutely will not settle for, and there has to be things that you're willing to compromise on.
Do you feel that Exhorder is being treated by the fans as the same way that used to be in the beginning?
I suppose to a degree. There's, one of the things that we always did was we always embraced and engaged with the people that enjoy our music. So uh, people today still, when we go out on tour, you know, we toured twice with Overkill earlier this year.
Oh.
So, you know, Overkill's a big band and we're playing a lot of shows and we're meeting a lot of people, but we get out into the crowd and we interact with people and we act like regular people. And people were like, I cannot believe how normal you guys are and how cool y'all are, that y'all are just sitting here talking to us. And I'm like, I mean, I still have to go home and try to figure out how to pay my bills just like you guys. So to me, I mean, we kind of are regular people. That just for 45 minutes to an hour and a half every night, I'm up on the stage performing for everyone. So I don't find that much separation. So in a lot of ways, things are the same, but the bigger the band gets, obviously, there's a lot more of a fan to rock star kind of thing that grows. But I always try to keep it less rock star and more like, you know, bring the fan level up and take the rock star level down. I'm not a big fan of praising myself or wanting to be admired necessarily. That's not why I do this. You know, it's nice and flattering when people tell you, you know, that your song meant something to them, or like even when they say like your song saved my life, like that really makes me feel a little uncomfortable, and it's kind of scary because, you know, music is powerful, and to me, once the songs are written and released and on a record, they don't just belong to me and my bandmates, they belong to everyone. So, you know, I don't necessarily know that I saved anyone's life, but if the music that I had out on you know, that's accessible to people has helped anyone get through a terrible time, I feel good about it, and I'm humbled, and the power of that is really impressive and awesome to me. But it's less about something special about me necessarily than it is just an amazing phenomenon, really.
How do you feel, Sir Kyle, next year being here in Peru for the concert?
Oh, for this coming year, yes. Very exciting, because we've never been to South America or Central America even. So for us, we're very excited about it. I have to say, back in the late 1980s, when we first started receiving fan mail, back then, of course, there was no World Wide Web, no internet. So if you wanted to contact a band, you had to write a letter and mail it. And we got a lot of mail from Central and South America, and that was really awesome. I always noticed, like, man, like, there's a lot of people that write to us from down there. And if you look at our statistics on the social media, there's still like the strongest presence that we have on social media is in a lot of places down that way. So I suspect it's going to be a bit more. I don't want to set myself up for anything, but I have a feeling that it's going to be
brutal,
pretty exciting, and there's going to be a lot of excited people, and all we want to do is make sure that everybody has the greatest time possible when we're there.
Yeah, I know. I'm very happy that you are coming here, and I mean, besides that it's going to be the concert, it's also for me very happy because you're gonna, maybe, who knows, try some Peruvian dishes, you know, some food or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have, let's say, the best food ever. I mean, you can search and you will say Peru food is perfect. Yeah.
That sounds great. I'm being from New Orleans and a person that cooks, I am a huge fan of eating. So, so I like when I travel, I like to eat what the local people eat.
Yeah.
And, you know, see like what kind of, I don't want to go to your country and drink Budweiser or Miller Lite or Coors Light. I don't want that. I want to drink the beers that you guys drink, and taste the dishes that you guys are eating on the regular basis. It's to me, it just makes no sense. I surely don't want to go to another place in the world and eat what they cook here in my community, because it's probably not going to be right.
So, Sir Kyle, this question is the one that I do to all the bands and artists, and you have to be very honest. And it's
Okay.
like this. If you have one day left on the earth, which we artists, dead or alive, and what song, not only metal, can be jazz, blues, whatever, you would like to play with?
One day left on Earth
Yeah.
with a deceased artist.
Yes. Or a artist who is alive, you know?
Oh, an artist who is alive.
Dead or
Okay, so
alive.
just if I had one day left on Earth and I could choose one artist to work with.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. That would be, man, that's a really great question, and I'm not prepared for it. I would probably pick somebody like Nile Rodgers.
Oh.
I don't know. I'd probably want to get in on the funk side, some of it, or Bootsy Collins or somebody like that. Just really have something totally different from anything I've ever done before.
Yeah.
But music that I love and appreciate and listen to. Yeah, I think that would probably be fun. Nile Rodgers or Bootsy Collins. That would be, whoever's available, I'll take them. I'm not picky.
Thank you. Well, Sir Kai, thanks so much, really, for this interview. Thank you so much. And I don't know if it's going to be a meet and greet with you guys, but like it's Christmas time near, I promise that I'm gonna give you something special from my country to you. Maybe I don't know if you are here, we can text and we can meet. I don't know, out of the place they're gonna play, because I'm gonna be, of course, there in the concert. So you can sign my shirt, we can take a photo.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
we really honor. So, Sir Guy, thank you so much. Please, would you like to invite all Zona Franca people and all Peruvian crowd for your concert next year, May 7th?
We are looking forward to it immensely. So I can't even express how happy I am to finally be coming to your country. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Sir Guy, and God bless you, and see you next year.
Likewise. Talk soon.
Thank you.